Hey guys, glad you stopped by. So today, I thought we'd do a soup. And I love soup, especially in the wintertime. Soups and stews are like, next to crock pots, are like the king of kings, you know, or the queen of queens, depending on who you are, where you live, what you're into. In the wintertime, you know, they are just, I think they're good all year round, but especially in the wintertime. Yeah, they're like good for your heart, good for your soul. Keep you going. They're usually full of nutrition, especially when you make them yourself. You know, at least they're filled with love, you know, right? And you can tell, right? Am I the only one that notices when something's made with love and something's not? It's got a whole different taste. It's just so much better. But today we're going to do a lasagna soup, a chicken Alfredo lasagna soup with spinach, and I think this is going to be amazing. Chris actually saw this recipe on Facebook, maybe, I think it was, and it looked amazing. As far as the picture goes on the recipe, it almost looked AI generated, and that is a thing with, you know, a lot of online recipes anymore. Is a lot of times they're AI generated, and you have to kind of, you know, cooking isn't so bad, but I mean, as far as kind of pick and choose, you know what and what you do, versus baking. Baking is a whole different beast. I've seen all kinds of AI generated recipes that have just, you know, not healthy at all, and don't work, which is always a dilemma. AI, as cool as it is and as scary as I think it's gonna be, is really not ready for the big leagues when it comes to baking and some cooking. But anyhow, if you are new to my channel, welcome. If this is your first video, I hope you get something out of it. Maybe check out some of my other videos. If you are returning or one of our new subscribers, welcome back and thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. That's important, keeps the neighborhood going. And don't forget to comment. Comments are always, you know, welcomed, good, bad, or indifferent. I respond to all of them. The only thing I ask is if it's okay to disagree with me or anybody else in the comments, just be nice. You know, be respectful. That's all we ever ask. You know, our neighborhood is diversified, and so far, with very few incidents, we've all gotten along very well, and that's important, you know, to me and everybody that's in our neighborhood, so to speak. So, anyhow, I will give you all your measurements in cups, tablespoons, teaspoons. I will also give them to you in grams and milliliters and kilos if need be, but most of the time it's just grams and milliliters. So, why don't we head on down here to the counter and we'll go ahead and get started on this dish. Alright, we are down here at the counter and the stovetop, more importantly, because that's where we're going to be doing all our business. In this pot, I have some chicken broth being made. It's actually going to be chicken stock, and not just broth. This is going to go for at least 12 hours, probably closer to 24. That way it's good and rich and healthy. But the only thing we'll need to start this show is going to be this pot right here, which both these pots I got for Christmas. These were my Christmas gifts this year. Awesome stuff. This one given to me by my adopted daughter Tina, and this one given to me by Santa Claus. Well, actually from Chris, but we'll say Santa Claus. And great gifts. Needed them both. So to get started, I've got my pot turned on, and the first thing we're going to add to our pot is 1 tablespoon 14 grams of butter, and we're going to add 1 tablespoon 15 milliliters of vegetable oil. And we're going to wait till the butter melts and the oil heats up, and then we can start adding stuff. Alright, so our oil is heated up, our butter is melted, and I can hear it crackling. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but I know I can hear it. So the first thing I'm going to add to this is a half a medium onion that's chopped up. It's right around 94 grams right there, or about a cup's worth. This little cup here is a cup. So it's about a cup's worth, half a medium onion. 94 grams is what I got in here. So we're gonna go ahead and get that in here, and we're gonna let these cook for about 5 minutes while giving them a pretty consistent stir to get them nice and golden and softened. All right, now that we got some nice golden color on our onions and they're soft, we're gonna go ahead. I've got 4 cloves of garlic that are minced at 17 grams, 15 to 17 grams worth of garlic. Now this you want to keep moving, you know, because if you don't, it'll stink, you know, and it'll turn bitter, right? We don't want that turning bitter. We want that to stay fragrant. So we give this a quick one. I can already smell it going on. So the next thing I'm gonna add to this is 8 ounces, a half a pound, 227 grams worth of button mushrooms, and get that going, just like such. And then I've got a quarter teaspoon, 0.5, half a gramish of Italian seasoning right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in, and we're gonna cook this down until the mushrooms are rendered and they've given off their water. So it's gonna be about 5 minutes. All right, so our mushrooms have rendered down. They are about half the size they used to be, and they are on their way to being, pretty golden brown. I know they smell fantastic with the garlic and the onion. And our onions cooked down, and we've got a little bit of water going on in there from the mushrooms where they've released their water, basically. So the next thing we need to do is I've got 3 tablespoons, 30 grams of flour, just regular old all-purpose flour. We're gonna put that in there with it. And we're gonna give this a stir, and we're gonna let it cook for a minute or so. That way, we make sure that there's no, flour that hasn't been touched by heat. And we give it a little head start. We're almost making a roux. Well, we are making a roux. It's not an almost. We are making a roux. All right, so the next thing we got is 6 cups of chicken broth, and I will write down here at the bottom of the screen how much that is in milliliters. But I'm going to take about 2 cups of it and pour it in here right off the bat. Well, actually, I can come pretty close to 6 cups. It is right around 1,250 milliliters, or about 1 1/4 liters. But we're going to take a couple cups of that. We're going to get in here, and we are going to stir it in with this, with the flour, and make sure we don't have any lumps. All right, so we got no lumps, 2 cups in there. We are looking good. The kitchen smells amazing. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to add this other 4 cups in, just like such. Just like that. And then we are also going to add in 1 cup, 240 milliliters of heavy whipping cream, or just heavy cream, depending on where you're at, who you are, and what you can get from the grocery store. Ours always just says heavy cream, which is what we use to whip, make whip topping with. And then what else do we need to add in here? Heavy cream and lasagna noodles, and I think that's it. Yeah, heavy cream and then lasagna noodles. I have 10 lasagna noodles right here that I've just broken up, right? Just broken up into pieces, good sized pieces, bite-sized pieces. We'll go ahead and throw those in there. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this up to a boil, turn it down to a simmer with the lid on, and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. Okay, so we have simmered for our 20 minutes, and man, I'm telling you, the house just it smells amazing. It is in every corner. Now, I don't remember if I mentioned this or not, but you want to stir this on occasion. That way your noodles don't stick to the bottom of your pot, because that can happen. All right, so the next thing we're gonna add to this is 2 cups of cooked shredded chicken. I've got 300 grams worth here, which is probably way more than 2 cups, but the original recipe called for 2 cups, probably close to 200 grams, 250 grams worth of chicken, but I'm not that far off. But we're gonna go ahead and get that in there. And like I said, I'm using 300 grams worth at any rate. Get that in. I like a little extra chicken in anything I can put chicken in. And then I've got 8 ounces, 227 grams, 1 block of cream cheese. And I've got this cut into littler blocks. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these in as little blocks, so that way they melt a little quicker. And I am going to stir this continuously until the cream cheese is melted. And if you have to, go ahead and turn your heat back up from that simmer you were just on, so that way you get it melting real good. All right, guys, so we're down to the home stretch. Last few ingredients: Next things we're gonna add to this is, they always call salt and pepper to taste. So I'm gonna put about a 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon of salt in. About that much there. And then about a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Either way, I mean, we can measure them out, but why? I'm not a big fan of salt. I do like pepper, but I'm not a big fan of salt. It does bad things to the body. But it does help bring out other flavors, so they're necessary. So we get those stirred in, and then I have got 1 cup, 81 grams of, in this case, frozen spinach. I would have used fresh, but the fresh that they happen to have at the store just looked horrible. So I just bought a bag of frozen and called it a day. But it's 81 grams worth of frozen, or a cup's worth of fresh. You know, I mean, realistically though, put as much spinach in it as you like. That's the beauty of cooking. It's not quite like baking where you have to be exact and precise. There are exceptions to that. So now that we got our spinach in there, the last thing I'm going to put in is 1 cup of Parmesan cheese, which weighs in at 162 grams. And we're going to get that in there, and then we're just going to give this a stir until the Parmesan melts. And if this were fresh spinach, we'd want the spinach leaves to wilt also, but that takes like less time than the Parmesan to melt. So once that gets done, we'll let it cool for a second because we don't want to melt our face off, and then we'll try some. So when I come back, we'll go ahead and bowl it up and give her a try. All right, see you here in just 1 second. Okay, so cheese all melted. We are, I think, cool enough that it's not going to melt our face off. It's still steaming pretty decent, but that's all right. I'm hungry. And I know I want to eat, so we're going to get her going. Now, while I'm serving this, let's have a quick conversation about what to do if it gets too thick or it's too thin. So if it's too thick, just add a little more chicken broth to it. Or if you're like Brian, I've already added 6 cups of chicken broth to it. I can't afford any more chicken broth. You can add water, just as easy as anything else. Or, you know, like if you buy your chicken broth in the box, you know, that's 4 cups. If you don't want to open one up to waste, you know, a bunch of it unless you're going to use it, just add water. Now, if it's too thin, what do? Just let it keep cooking. You let it cook long enough, it'll thicken up more. You could add a little more Parmesan in there also, and that will help all of that thicken up. But yeah, and then of course you can always taste for salt and pepper again after you add that initial there at the end to see if that's to your liking. I mean, I know it's going to be to mine just because like I said, we're not much on salt, but I do like pepper, and I know about a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper in almost anything's enough to give it take it where it needs to go. So let me find a piece of noodle that isn't going to make me look like an idiot slurping it up. There's our finished dish, if you can see it there. I think it looks amazing. But just because it smells good, just because it looks good, we're only 2/3 of the way there, right? It's got to taste good too. Knock that sucker out of the park, Country Mile. I tell you, it's good enough this make you want to kiss the neighbor. Holy cow. That is so good. And that was so hot. But it's like I just don't care. Oh. Holy cow. Amazing. Just amazing. You will definitely need to give this a try. Sorry, my phone was going off. Yeah, give this a try. Let me know if you do. You're not going to be disappointed. You know, I highly, highly, highly recommend this one. And it took no time to make. You know, we layered things in. You know, it took longer to just let it cook and everything come together than it did a saute. The only thing you had to cut up was onion. You know, and crushed some onion, garlic. Yeah, I can't think of a reason why you couldn't make this through the week. This would make a great weekend meal, Saturday during a sporting event, you know, family gathering. Quick, easy, ready to go. So let me know if you do. Like I said, you're not gonna be disappointed. That is a crazy good dish. I would have probably walked right by this dish if Chris wouldn't have recommended it. So I'm glad she did. But tomorrow for dessert, not sure. We still got just a list a mile long of things I want to do, but I'm not sure which one it's going to be. But if you guys ever have anything you would like to see me make, for sure. And I know every once in a while somebody will comment and say, "Hey, how about this? This sounds good." I try my best, and I think I do an all right job. Not to pat myself on the back of making whatever it is that's asked. I mean, I know I don't get to everything, but I try my hardest. But if there's something you'd like to see, at least let me know. I would be more than happy to try to get on it. But, all the same, I have no clue tomorrow. We're still going to try to keep canning. I think that's it. So, anyhow, I'm going to get this over to the table so that way we can eat and enjoy each other's company. But until tomorrow for dessert, I love you. I love you very much, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else that you love them and love them very much. They may need to hear it, and it's going to make them feel good either way it goes. Surely going to make them smile. It's going to make you smile and feel good to tell them. Right? I know. And if you make them some of this chicken Alfredo lasagna soup, holy cow, are they going to grin ear to ear and know that they have a good friend, there at the table with them. And it's just going to warm their heart, right? Lead this evening of conversation, and there's enough there. You could probably invite a couple friends, set the family down at the table, have a good conversation. Our country needs that. Our world needs that more than anything right now. So, anyhow, till tomorrow for dessert, I love you, and I will see you then. All right? See you later. Bye-bye.